Day man. Ah, fighter of the night man. Ah, champion of the sun. You're the master of karate and friendship. What? Okay, so this episode starts with Princess Twilight. Animation error! She has no wings! Oh wait, this is before she became a princess. Anyway, Spike then arrives to give her a letter. I wonder if he ever gets spam.
Princess Celestia cordially invites you to the wedding of Princess Mi Amore Cadenza and... my brother?
I'll get onto that later. After the credits, Twilight is ticked off that her brother is getting married to someone she's never met. Oh look, there's a bubble around Canterlot. Anyway, Twilight tells us that before moving to Ponyville, she and him did everything together. Even though she presumably went to live in a strange town without telling him. Oh well, song time!
Your big brother, best friend forever. Like two peas in a pod, you did everything together.
I don't know, I think I prefer the song in Friendship is Witchcraft.
Twilight, please like the song and we're a bunch of floating heads.
Well, the main six then arrive in Canterlot. Oh look, there's a bubble around Canterlot. And...
Twilight!
oh dear. Actually, has anyone else noticed that his armour has a saddle? Apparently he didn't tell Twilight he was getting married because there was an unspecified threat made against the castle. Well, she buys it, so I guess you can't argue with results.
This, you need to see.
What, the bubble around Canterlot? Nah, I never noticed it. Of course, after that, Shining Armour tells Twilight who this Princess Mi Amore Cadenza is.
Twilight, Princess Mi Amore Cadenza is Cadence.
Cadence? As in the Cadence? As in the greatest foal sitter in all the history of foal sitters?
Well, that was dark. Wait, she's a unicorn with wings? She's a Pegasus with a horn? She's an alicorn? Why? I mean, I know why, but this throws a lot into question, like the rule of the two sisters. Because before, they were the most powerful beings in Equestria, so their rule made sense. But if there are others, why are they in charge? I mean, I could guess that after banishing Luna to the moon, Celestia couldn't manage to run a kingdom and raise the sun and the moon on her own. But when did Cadence become an alicorn? How did it happen? I know the comics have touched on this, but the thing is, the show's canon rarely follows the comics, and so I don't consider that valid to the show. Not only that, but it puts a lot of previous events into question. Like, what was she doing when Nightmare Moon was going to bring Eternal Night? Where was she when Discord brought chaos? Why wasn't she at the Grand Galloping Gala? How come no one, not even Twilight, has mentioned her up until now? Although in later seasons she has been made a more likeable character, right here, right now, she's just a huge plot hole to the events that came before. And people say Troubleshoes broke the show. Well, anyway, we finally get to meet Cadence.
Sunshine, sunshine, ladybugs awake. Clap your hooves and do a little shake. What are you doing?
I have such a gutter mind.
Cake. Shit.
The cake is a lie! While Applejack is preparing the hors d'oeuvres, Cadence comes in to check on them.
Please, call me Princess Mi Amore Cadenza.
Hi, Princess Mi Amore Cadenza.
Applejack gives her something to go. Maybe she wasn't hungry. Well, she then goes to check on Rarity and her dress. As cute as it is to see Rarity working on a dress, Cadence's face is weird.
I was hoping for something with more beating and a longer train.
That night, Twilight meets up at a cafe with her friends, and begins to complain about how rude she thinks Cadence has been while her friends take no notice.
But he was singing really often.
Let it go, let it go.
This seems like a good time to bring this up. Twilight is being very protective of Shining Armour, and yet he was never mentioned before this episode. And it's not like they didn't have an opportunity. Okay, Cutie Mark Chronicles was a season 1 episode, so they probably hadn't thought about it then. But in season 2 there was Sisterhood Social, It's About Time, Hearthwoman Eve, the Christmas episode where they go to Canterlot, they don't mention him. Whereas in season 1, the Grand Galloping Gala was foreshadowed from the 3rd episode.
Maybe there shouldn't even be a wedding.
Was it something I said? Well, she then goes to see Shining Armour and ends up seeing a bit more than that. So the next day during a wedding rehearsal, I think, she goes and declares Cadence to be evil. Evil!
Why are you doing this to me?
And Shining Armour isn't too happy about that. In fact, none of them are. Not even Celestia. Now you know you've done wrong when even Celestia's ticked off.
I could have gained a sister.
Sister, really? Well, Cadence then arrives to comfort poor Twilight. Or she melts her into the ground. Of course, the thing that gets me is, why is the end credits like this? I mean, could you just imagine if every dark or serious ending was then followed by cheery credits?
Live long and prosper.
I love you.
I know.
My fault. I didn't get the joke.
They wouldn't work so much. Well, we rejoin Twilight in the caves under Canterlot, which, according to Cadence, even Celestia's forgotten about. Well, after Twilight busts down some walls, she finds Cadence, who reveals herself to be the real Cadence. Aw, ain't that nice. So wait, she knew where the exit was but didn't leave. She is every NPC in every escort mission in every video game ever. But on the bright side, we get what is considered to be one of the better songs of the series. So, how does it hold up? To be honest, I'm probably not the best person to answer that. Because when I first watched the show, I was so engaged in the story, the song completely passed me by. And it's the same to this day. That's not to say I don't listen to the song on its own, and it is still good in that sense. But it's not like Rainbow Rocks where the songs are the focus. This day aria is, for lack of a better word, filler. After that, Twilight and Cadence are almost free. They just need to get past the terrifying, horrifying bridesmaids.
Mares and gentle colts.
Why does she have to ruin my special day? Because it's not your special day, it's mine.
Wow, this is like a soap I saw once, only less animated.
What? But how did you escape my bridesmaid?
Of course, the bridesmaid's one weakness, the bouquet. Well, after that, evil Cadence reveals her true form. Cool. This is Chrysalis, the leader of the Changelings and chronic monologuer. I'm not even joking, she could sneeze and monologue about it.
My fellow changelings will be able to devour so much of it that we will gain more power than we have ever dreamed of.
Never get the chance. Shining Armor's protection spell will keep them from ever even reaching us.
Cheddar or Brie?
Even now, my minions are chipping away at it.
Why? I mean, if she's wanting to eat everyone in Canterlot, wouldn't preventing them from escaping or calling backup be an advantage? I mean, the train was able to pass right through the shield, so couldn't she funnel soldiers in undercover? And it's not like it would be difficult for them. They're changelings! They can take on the appearance of someone else. Heck, you took on the appearance of a princess. The founders thought of that 20 years ago. Well, after more monologuing from Chrysalis, and this line from Cadence.
Not my shining armor!
I don't know why, it makes me laugh. We finally get to see Celestia kicking A and taking names. Oh yeah, that happened.
The elements of harmony. You must get to them and use their power to defeat the queen.
Celestia, she's a creature looking for food. What are the elements of harmony meant to do exactly? Are you sure you're okay? Do you know where you are? How many fingers am I holding up? Well, the main six, following Celestia's instruction, go to retrieve the elements of harmony, just as the changelings break down the bubble. And now the majority of the Brony's earliest memes are spawned. Of course, the main six get captured, and brought back to the Queen.
You do realize the reception's been cancelled, don't you? Go! Feed!
I thought you said it was cancelled.
It's not your fault. She fooled every pony.
I did, didn't I?
See? I still think Chrysalis could make a good villain. Throughout most of this episode, Chrysalis is talked more or less like any other pony, only with a sound effect added on afterwards. It's kind of like him from Powerpuff Girls. In the original Powerpuff Girls, him had this really strange design and sound effects added to his voice. But it was the amount of flair the VA put into his voice that really made him seem evil.
Am I the only one who hates those miserable little brats?
Whereas in Powerpuff Girls Z...
I'm impressed you were able to find me so quickly, but sadly for you, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah, the Blink-182 posters he has up in his bedroom tell me he's not evil. I know this may seem like a small nitpick, but when most of the acting is done through the voice, it makes a difference. Twilight then frees Cadence, who then breaks the spell Chrysalis has on our shining armour, and then we get this lovely bit of stupidity.
My power is useless now. I don't have the strength to repel them.
My love will give you strength.
What a lovely but absolutely ridiculous sentiment.
Your idiocy. Didn't you defeat Celestia and take over Canterlot using that exact tactic? Well, what do you know, it actually works. And we get the most ridiculous shot of Chrysalis. Where does she land? I don't know. But I'm sure she'll monologue about it.
I'm fine. You have a real wedding to put together.
I get why the Queen of the Changelings wanted to be with you, but how did you get someone as amazing as Cadence to marry you?
I think we all know the answer to that.
The strength of their commitment is clear. The power of their love, undeniable.
I'm sure Celestia won't be forgetting the power of their love anytime soon. Wait, where did those go with... You know what? I'm gonna shut up now. The problems with this episode can be summed up as Cadence, Chrysalis, and Shining Armour. And if you dislike this episode because of them, I can see why, especially since they are the focus. However, for me, I enjoyed the story and animation too much to dislike this episode. Particularly the little touches, like the main six's drinks in a cafe scene where Twilight's talking about her brother. When one of them takes a drink, the liquid goes down, and when Twilight bangs on a table, it sloshes about. I know it may seem insignificant, but it's the small touches like that I like. Especially since it would have been so much easier for them to make it styrofoam cups. Anyway, enough chit chat, we got a wedding.
Hello, every pony. Did I miss anything?
Did you miss anything? Did you miss anything? Where have you been this whole time, you benevolent recalcitrant?